very important topic. Well, they're all important, but this is very important, especially what's going on now, is how to be financially, free, how to make sure you survive when there's financial crisis. And there's a lot of realtors out there right now that have been in business just less than 10 years, and that this might be the first time in their career that something outside of their control is affecting their business and their income and their bills. So especially right now with something that happened so quickly, like a faucet being turned off financially. So I want to give you some tips and ideas and in understanding, being in the business for 28 years and seeing ups and downs in the market and crashes and housing crises and all of that. If these are some ideas and things that you can do now to be prepared for things that are going to be changing soon or could change soon, and then get you more prepared next time. So the silver lining of all of this, I'm one of those people that there's a silver lining to everything. There's something, it could be very, very small of anything bad that comes out of things. So if this coronavirus and the economy takes a toll on your business and your income, the silver lining is you're going to get down to the bare bone minimums of what you can do financially, and get yourself ready for and be more secure, have a more stable financial foundation. So if anything happens in the future, you could be ready for it. And then don't ever forget it. So if this is your first time, if you're watching this, if this is over the next few weeks or next few months or a year or 6 months, how long the financial toll takes on your business and real estate, never forget it. Please don't ever forget it, because there's a lot of people right now that are in business over 10 years that might be in the same position they were in financially 10 years ago and didn't remember the things that they went through and how to prepare for this. So here's a few things, about 7 things that I came up with that could help you. So number 1 is you got to simplify your budget. You got to sit down with everything. Go through your checking account, your savings account, your credit cards. Go through everything, every single expense you have, and go through what is 100% needed and what is 100% that's 100% really not needed. But we want to keep. So there's really 3 things that you can't do without. There's things that you want to save. And then there's things that you could totally probably get rid of. And again, a silver lining thing. There's probably things right now that you've gotten rid of because under quarantine and things, going out to restaurants, going out to doing things, there's certain things that we do that the decision was made for us already, and we're saving money because we can't do some of these things. So you have to simplify to get it organized, put it there. And then once you have it organized of categories, then put it down. What's the first thing to go? Second thing to go? What things, and then what can be limited? What could drop down? Even down to you go through what can be. You obviously have to eat. You have to pay your bills and all of that. But maybe you could simplify some of those things. So, like an example is, if you're making, number 1, if you are making extra payments on things. Extra payments on your house payment, or your extra payments on your car payment, or extra payments on anything, don't do that. Not saying that don't do that. What you can do, I suggest, is if you really do have that extra funds, instead of making that extra payment, open up another account. So if you've been making an extra $100, $200 on a house payment or car payment or your student loans or anything like that, instead of that, keep that budget, put that in a savings account. So if all things good, if all of a sudden 6 months from now, you're like, wow, I got through this, everything's fine. Now all of those extra payments you've been making over 6 months are in an account, put it in towards what you were going to put it towards, but you have it in case of an emergency. So don't make extra payments, but you can set those funds aside in an account. So if 6 months, a year from now, you're in a good financial position than make one big payment instead of a year from now, instead of 12 monthly payments of extra, make one big payment of extra. Hopefully you could follow that. So cut out the extra payments automatically right away. And then also see what you can pause. See what you can, anything that you could pause, like a gym membership, anything that you could think of, any type of membership. Obviously, I see it on my credit card statements. I got the Netflix and the Apple TV and the Hulu and the Disney Plus, and all of a sudden those $10, $15, $20 adds up to $100 or $200. So go through that credit card, find out anything that you can pause in any type of those small monthly things, because those small monthly things add up. And I bet if once you go through that, your list of expenses, you're going to find things going, wow, I've been paying $5 a month, $4.99 a month, but I never really paid attention to it because I'd never looked at it because it's just such a small fee. But just go through everything. That's two is separate your personal and business expenses. I know sometimes as realtors it's hard. We have our cell phone bill, we have our gas, and we have different things that we pay, our online service. Separate those and try to separate those. If you have two credit cards or two bank accounts, try to separate those payments either at least on a spreadsheet or at least on, if you can, by account, so you can really see what you're spending on your business expense and personal expense. So try to separate all of those business expenses and personal expenses. Number three, every single bill that you have, including your utility bills, everything that you have, call every single one of them, especially in this time of national global crisis. There are programs, there's things. So even if you don't need it now, do it, because we don't know how long things are going to last. We don't know where the business will be. No one has a crystal ball, see where the business will be 6 months from now. So I don't want to see anybody 6 months from now going, wow, I wish I called my electric company to see if I could get on a budget plan. It would have saved me $50 a month. And I wish I would have called the gas company, or I wish I called my car payment company, see if I could defer or move one payment. And that one payment of $400, I skipped 1 month and they just deferred it to the end of the lease or finance, could have saved me that. So even if you're not, these are things that you could do now, even though you don't need it, but then you'll have the ability and the freedom to have that extra money just in case. So negotiate with everybody, take advantage of everything that you can with deferring payments, even if you don't need it, as long as it's not costing you any money to do that. They're not charging you extra fees or extra changing your interest rate or changing your terms. So make sure you're not changing anything that could eventually cost you more money in the long run. Number four, educate yourself about everything that's going on with unemployment and small business loans. So realtors, a lot of us, or all of us, are 1099, or majority of us are 1099. You may be able to get a small business loan. Now, I've been reading and seeing webinars and classes and calling different banks and calling different people of all the things about unemployment for our realtors and small business loans for our realtors. It's still a moving process on what it is. So I tell you, some things are changing day to day. Some people are giving you different advice. So I don't want to come out here and tell you exactly what to do, but research it. Find out about unemployment, what's available to you as a 1099 realtor. Find out about small business loans and what you may be approved for as your own independent contractor and a business yourself, a business within a business. And you might be able to have benefits of both somehow. Again, I don't want to tell you exactly because things have been changing so quickly. Being able for realtors to get unemployment and a small business loan, if you told me a year ago if that was going to be possible, my personal opinion is like, no, they're never going to let you do that unless you have a lot of income or lots of assets. But there's things happening now that allowing you to do that. So research that. Number five, your biggest expense as realtors is what? Your taxes. you're all 1099. So your taxes. So you please talk to a tax advisor, talk to 3 advisors, because each one of them, again, things are moving. I could tell you over 28 years of being in real estate and having 22 years of opening up this office, I've been through several different accountants over the years. I wish I knew now what I knew, wish I knew then what I know now is research different accountants. Just because it's your favorite cousin or your best friend or whatever, it's just like any other business. It's just like get a second opinion on your taxes, because you can defer taxes as being a realtor and a self-employed person. You can there's obviously extensions that you can file. There's so many things. So right now, we hopefully all know that they delayed income tax. For one. 2, as a small business, depending upon how you classify yourself as a small business, as on your taxes, you could actually defer about 50% of your taxes, your self-employment tax, for up to 2 years. So again, I'm just giving you ideas. Don't quote me on that. Talk to your tax advisor. But there's ways for you to defer, extend, and so all of the taxes. So maybe the silver lining on that for all of the agents out there, that April 15th, we're going to have to write a check if you haven't been paid in your quarterly estimated taxes, that there's a way for you to save on that money and have that money there for a little bit longer, just in case you need it. So taxes, check that out. Talk to a tax advisor. Please don't just do them on your own. Number 6, an emergency fund. If you have an emergency fund and you have some savings that you're set aside just in case things happen financially, please don't use it until you go through all of the steps I just went through with you. Because if you start using that first, then a lot of people do, like, got to pay for this, got to pay for that, or got to pay off my credit card, or got to do that. Just please don't go into that emergency fund until you've done every other thing, and then go into your emergency fund there. So that's because sometimes I've seen people do the wrong thing first. They start using their emergency funds until it's deplenished, or there's nothing left there anymore, and then they have no money. Then they have to scramble and do all of the things and try to cut their bills. So try to cut that first. So don't go into the emergency fund until you're ready. And then last, the bottom line, and you might have heard this before, and I've really stuck with this myself personally and business-wise, as I don't know when I've heard it, or in a business class or financial class, is that you should personally and business-wise have a minimum of 3 months in that emergency fund, just in case there is zero income. Can you go 3 months personally or business-wise with absolutely zero income? No income to you, nothing. Pay all of your bills and survive with just nothing. That, my personal opinion, that's your minimum personal goal, is to always have 3 months minimum, because a lot of us live our lives paycheck to paycheck. There's a lot of that out there. Of course, that's just the world we live in. We always think there's, especially as sales, we always think the pipeline is going to keep on going and the sales are going to keep on going. We never think about the faucet just being turned off in less than a couple weeks, like boom, you're out of business. Because especially as a lot of the great successful agents out there can tell you, is that you kind of get into a rhythm of, wow, usually in spring things pick up, then summer, and you get into that ups and downs of income in real estate. Hey, summer's going to be busy, there's going to be more income. In fall, they start closing, and then in winter it slows down, and then the checks in January and February and March are a little bit slower, and then it picks back up. If you've been in real estate for years, you kind of get that flow. But every 10 years, every so many years, all of a sudden the faucet gets turned off for something that happens in the world, and that's what's happening right now. So prepare. So the silver lining, hopefully the main silver lining take for this, and I hope none of you listening or watching this are going to get into any major financial problems. I'm just giving you ideas to help. But if you do, the silver lining is from now on, move forward while that income increases. Think about that. Minimum 3 months, personal and business. And if you separate your accounts, you're like, this is all my personal expense, my rent, my mortgage payment, my credit card minimum payments, my car loans, my student loans. What do I need to survive for 3 months, and try to start saving up to have that just in case. So that's it for today. Hopefully those things will help you. Everything that I'm telling you, I went through 10 plus years ago personally and business-wise in 2008 and 2009, and I remembered it. I stuck with it. I had ingrained in my memory of everything. I could probably rattle off every single bill to the penny of what I had 10 years ago and what the minimum payment was and who I called to negotiate things. So if you want to use me as a resource, feel free to call me, text me, email me, Facebook message me. Anyway, I'm happy to help. And I keep everything confidential. So if you have some ideas on some bills and things that you're going through financially, I'm happy to use me as a confidential resource to help you get through these times of financial hardships that may come because of what's happening. So that's it. Hope everybody's doing well, being home safe and healthy. And tomorrow I'll have another topic. I'm working on that right now, right after this. So watch my Facebook or watch for an email later tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.